Now, yesterday's rally by CORD brought to the fore questions of what some were calling political opportunism, if you like. Was it about the real issues, or is it just an opportune moment for politicians to make or to gain some sort of mileage? And to discuss this and also the Wiper politics, we have David Musila, who is the senator of Kitui, and he is joined by Mutegi Njau. As always, if you want to ask some questions, you have comments and views on the same or anything that they will say, you can get in touch with them on 22422. That number again, our SMS number 22422. Send in your views, comments, and questions, and Mutegi Njau will be able to pass them across. And also on Twitter, remember, the hashtag is #breakfast at Citizen TV Kenya or at Mutegi's. Good morning, Mutegi.
Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning, Mutegi.
How are you, sir?
Fine.
So, were you in that meeting yesterday?
I had a motion in the Senate.
In the Senate. So, the Senate is in session?
Yes, the Senate is in session, and I had a motion which I had to promote and prosecute through. Therefore, I couldn't be in that meeting.
What was the motion about?
It had something to do with the provision of devolution and the issue of getting local governments, that is county governments, to account for the funds properly that are allocated to them.
Isn't that the business of the Auditor General?
It is, but as you are aware, the Senate has a role to play in safeguarding, also oversighting the functions of county governments, and therefore it is appropriate that from time to time senators bring in issues and motions that tend to promote those ideas of oversight, whether it is by the Senate or whether it is by the county assemblies.
The Senate also yesterday and had such kind of a kumkunji where they were discussing the enhancement of the authority of the Senate and the cooperation between the Senate and the National Assembly.
It was not actually a kamukunji. I think it was a press conference, and you have put it very well, that enhancing cooperation between the National Assembly and Senate. The whole idea is to avoid those quarrels, in quotes, that appear to be dominating the functions of the Senate and the National Assembly. You are aware that things have even gone out of the way. Even the Senate had to go to the Supreme Court to seek some interpretations of the Constitution in regard to functions of the two houses. So we think that the way forward is to create harmony between the two houses, the Senate and the National Assembly. And the way to go is to make laws that define properly the roles of each of the houses, indeed following good practices all over the world. And that is exactly what we are trying to do, and we will be going to seek the views of the public on these matters as is required in the Constitution, so that eventually we may have a referendum that will make us know and involve the public in making these decisions. There are views, of course, that this is Senate trying to enhance its authority, and I say no, it is a matter of defining roles for harmony, for good working relations of the two houses, and by and large for the public good, because when the two houses are not in harmony, you cannot expect democracy to function properly in the whole republic.
Now let's go to that rally tomorrow. Your party leader and the other country leaders were there.
Yes.
And purporting to be supporting the teachers' cause.
Yes.
I don't know what, you didn't go to the meeting, but what is your view about it?
Well, I don't think it is only CORD that is supporting the teachers' cause. I believe Kenyans at large are supporting teachers' cause, whether they are in CORD or whether they are in Jubilee. And I think this is very clear. And in my view, because you asked my opinion, in my view, this is a national challenge. It is a problem for this country. It's not a problem for Jubilee. It's not a problem for CORD. What I think lacks in my own mind is that dialogue that we are talking about. In all over the world, whenever there are national crises, like the one we have now, like you recall, we had a crisis of security. Remember the Westgate issue? That is when the leadership of the country, be they in government, be they in opposition, that's when they come together and discuss the issues on hand and find solutions so that they go together in resolving these problems. I do not think that we are doing it the right way, in my opinion. I think the first and foremost thing when this challenge came and this issue came was for the government, the ruling party, to bring in the opposition together and discuss this issue. How do we resolve it? And then we'll be now talking together. But the way we are going about it is Jubilee are talking alone, CORD are talking alone, yet it is a national crisis. It's not a Jubilee crisis. Therefore, I think what is lacking is dialogue between the parties involved on how to solve the problem of teachers. It's not a problem that has just come. It is a problem that has been around for a long time.
So, what about the rally?
The rally went in, and I think this rally should be viewed in the that it happened because there had not been the dialogue I'm talking about. Certainly, if there was the dialogue I'm talking about, the rally would not have taken place. But CORD cannot stand by and watch, doing nothing about it. So it is an expression of opinion. What should be done publicly in absence of the dialogue I'm talking about?
Some people would like to think that CORD is taking advantage to politic on the problem of teachers in order to make inroads towards the election on 2017 using this rally.
So what would be the alternative? In order that CORD is not viewed to be taking advantage of the situation, what would be the alternative? For CORD to fold their hands and be bystanders to watch the problem without an opinion and without an avenue to air their views? So the only way the CORD can do it is to address the public, since an opportunity has been missed to dialogue and get involved in solving the problem as a national problem, all of us together.
When there was Westgate, nobody had rallies. When there was insecurity, nobody holds rallies to condemn the government or to, of course they do criticize the government.
Exactly, and you recall that when there was an attack in Westgate, which you have given as an example, the president did call the CORD leader, and they did discuss it, and you saw them standing side by side, condemning the action, and also saying they are in solidarity in resolving the security issue. I think that was the way to go, and that was a good example. And I believe that we should go in a bipartisan manner. In a bipartisan manner, we discuss it and resolve it. But when there is no dialogue, then CORD cannot stand and watch. CORD has to reach out to the public and to seek their opinion, and also give their opinion, and to show their concern. But I want to say that it could have been done differently if there was a dialogue.
CORD also announced that they're going to, your leader, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, he did announce that every Tuesday, as long as the teachers are not paid, they will be demonstrating and occupying Harambee Avenue and Harambee House. What is your opinion about that also?
Again, I want to go back to what I said. We should have gone through this in a bipartisan manner. You hear even more things than that. Yeah. But the way to go, if it were possible now to say, let us come together. The church has offered.
Yeah.
And it's not only the politicians who should talk. It is the church, stakeholders, the teachers, all of us together. And all the talks of demonstrations, whatever, could be brought to a stop if we embrace dialogue. And I say it's not only this issue, the issue of security, the issue of corruption. All these are national challenges that can only be resolved when we come together in a bipartisan manner and discuss our national challenges and see how we can resolve them. These are my views, may not necessarily be the views of court, they may not be necessarily the views of anyone else, but I hold the view, very strong view, that a lot of things could be resolved through dialogue. And a lot of examples can be given. And look at, for example, the U.S. Whenever there is a major national problem, whoever is the president calls on the others, say, come to State House, let's sit down, come to White House, let's sit down, let's resolve this matter. And they come out with a strategy. I think that's what we need to do.
Why do you think there is no dialogue? Why was there dialogue at Westgate, but there is no dialogue here?
Those who should answer that question are those who should be initiating that dialogue. Why you should call them and ask them, why are you not initiating a dialogue similar to the one that you initiated when there was the security lapse in Westgate? I think it is all political differences, and I think the moment we come to say that national interests overrides other interests, political interests, I think that is when we will advance this country to higher heights.
Going back to your own party, there's not you were saying there's no dialogue between inter-party dialogue, but your own party seems to be having problems also.
What problems?
Well. In your own county, for instance,
yes,
there seems to be serious problems with the governor.
I want to say that there is no party, any party in this country or anywhere in the world that does not have political squabbles. And that, I think, is healthy, because people must be given space to express themselves and also to show their likes and dislikes. In the case of Kitui, for example, I think it's one of the counties that has seen a lot of harmony compared to other counties. But I believe a lot of governors are doing a good job. But I believe there are other governors who have not come to understand their role properly, particularly relations with other leaders, because they are not imperial governors. They are elected governors who should cooperate with other elected leaders. But when that cooperation lacks, you are likely to have problems. But I do not think that the Kitui problem is so huge compared to others. I think this was a minor misunderstanding that is being resolved.
But in fact, many you're saying you want to do a bill that will ensure that money received by counties is accounted for.
Yes.
You are saying the governors, some of them are operating like imperial majesties.
Yeah.
The Auditor General does his audit, and he says there are mistakes here and mistakes there. But instead of the leaders who are supposed to account, they are now throwing dust and casting aspersions on the authority and the ability of the Auditor General, which never used to happen before. We have had people questioning the ability or the auditing, the exercise itself.
Yes. Well, you know, the Senate has been in the forefront in insisting on accountability by governors. You remember Even at one time, some governors were summoned by the Senate Committee on Public Accounts, and they went to court to argue that they should not be answerable. But luckily or happily, the court did rule that they were answerable, and therefore now they are starting to appear. I think this is really a matter of concern to the Senate, to the nation, because every time you read newspaper reports, the auditors' reports, there is a lot of misuse of public resources. And indeed, this makes a very a poor case when we ask for enhanced allocation of resources to counties, because people wonder why we should be asking for more when the little that has been given is not being properly used. Indeed, this is why the Senate's concern and every day's concern is how we can ensure that the governors account for the funds that are allocated to them properly. This is happening. The auditors' reports have been received in the Senate, and already Senate governors are appearing before these committees. I think also the prosecutor should also look into areas where are clearly a violation of the law and take action. Because unless we all work together, the public prosecutor and those who are enforcing the law, moving to make sure that public funds are properly utilized, then we cannot move forward. And I think it's a beginning. We must also know that devolution just started 2 years ago, and these are teething problems that are already there. There are many, but I believe in the end we should not think that devolution is not going to work. Devolution is here to stay, but with the checks and balances and everybody being accountable, I'm sure the future is very bright for devolution.
The governors, following the same argument about accounting, they have announced that they are unwilling to use IFMIS, the government accounting system, procurement and system and disposal, which is computerized. They say it's failed, so they would rather continue using the same manual systems.
I did see that announcement by the chairman of Council of Governors, and certainly they have some very good reasons why they think that the system is not working, and I would not like to say that it is working, because they are the ones on the ground, they are the ones who know why it is not working. But overall, I think it is a good system, accountability, and ensures that there is control of expenditure. But I think they did agree that they were going to appeal to His Excellency the President to show the problems that they are facing. And I believe with the discussions going on, any system sometimes can fail here or there. But I think with the discussions, they will be able to show where they are aggrieved, where they think it's not working. And I believe in the end, it must work, because it's a system that provides accountability.
The people who have been commenting since yesterday's rally, they think that the meeting did not give solution, apart from that account which they said they need to raise money to give the teachers. There is no system that has been set up to collect the money and to disperse it. So people think it's, in fact, some Jubilee people are saying there's money for campaign, not for teaching.
Obviously that is wrong. Money is not for campaign, and I think you know the opposite side of the politics will always find fault in anything that is proposed by the other. I do not think, again, that is a solution to the problem we are facing. The problem on hand is that our teachers are on strike, our children are at home, national examinations are coming. So these are but attempts to appear to be solving the problem. But the problem, again, I go back to what I said, cannot be resolved until we have a bipartisan discussion on these issues and find out how to resolve them. once and for all.
Who I don't know. You are saying the government should initiate. Can't CORD itself, for instance, your leader or the former prime minister call the president and say, hey, look, let's talk.
But not only for this issue. I said there have been other issues, and I think you know the position of CORD. The position of CORD is that on the leadership of the country, let us talk, let us sit and talk. Not only on the teachers' issue, on all other issues that confront the nation, that call for participation of all political parties. And I think, as I said, it is happening everywhere else. I don't see why it cannot happen in this country, so that we can all sit together when it comes to serious national problems like the one on hand.
Some time back, it was reported in the media that Jubilee was approaching your leader, Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, and you had suggested to him that no, that's a closed house. You cannot go to a place which is full. And I suppose that was one way of dialoguing, and telling him welcome home, or let's talk.
No, that is not the kind of dialogue I'm talking about.
What is wrong with that?
That is not the kind of dialogue. I mean, if we are to be serious, in every party wants to strengthen itself by way of getting members from the other party. That is the game that was being played, and that is completely different from what we are talking about. What we are talking about is having identified a national problem like the one we have. Whether you are in WIPA, whether you are in ODM, whether you are in TNA, whatever party you belong, this is a national issue. Let us all come together and discuss it. So that when we go out to the public, we are talking one language. We are approaching the matter, we are giving the same solution, rather than me in CORD giving solutions to a problem and another one in Jubilee solution to another problem. I think you understand the synergy that is required in resolving national issues.
Somebody seems to be supporting you here. Is it possible to have a national dialogue with all stakeholders to end the strike instead of pointing fingers at each other? One John Dido from Lakisama says. Somebody is thanking teachers for not attending the meeting yesterday. This is politics. There is a dispute between the teachers and the unions. What do you think of the fact that the teachers didn't go to that meeting?
Well, this was not a teachers' meeting.
It was in solidarity with them.
It was in solidarity with them, and I don't fault them for not going, because first, you know, their matter is in court. And you know, even last time they were in court, the judge ordered that he did not want them to participate in a lot of those things. I think they were wise not to come. And I don't think we fault them for not coming, because their matter is in court. They have already been told to keep away from these issues. And I think they were wise. And I think also, if it was a CORD rally, all teachers are not in court. There are teachers in Jubilee, there are teachers in the court. So this was really not meant for teachers, and I think it served the purpose.
Don't you think some teachers in the union may be divided because of that rally? The people who are in
I doubt. By the way, the fact that you did not have the leadership of KNUT on the podium does not mean that teachers were not in that rally. I'm sure there were thousands of teachers in that rally. They may not have necessarily been leaders, but how could you tell that there were no teachers in the rally other than the leadership? But as I said, we don't fault them for not coming. It was not their rally. Their rally was to show solidarity with them, and I think it served the purpose, whether the teachers were there or not.
There is a kind of a movement going around Ukambani. Something called Maendeleo Chap Chap, and you don't seem to belong to that group or to support, or you...
No, you know, Mutegi, it's a good idea to talk about development. Indeed, the governor for Machakos has been working very hard to develop Machakos, and we credit him for whatever he has done, if ever there is something, because I don't know. It is what I read in the press.
But
a wise person would first want to do things in his place, do them well, then we can come around and say, yes, this is a good example to follow. But hardly 2 years, we can't see what has been done. Then someone says, I'm going to develop Kitui, I'm going to develop Makueni, and then leave my Machakos. Is it fully developed? So it's all politics. And I want to say here that such politics will not have room in our region, because it is really clearly somebody being used, if I may say so, to divide the political setup in the community. And the community is very aware of this, and we cannot allow it. Not by force. Being used by who? Well, whoever is using...
Is it not his initiative?
I doubt. It cannot be your initiative to claim to be developing other counties when there are governors in those counties. Are you saying that you have got budget for those counties? Are you saying that those governors are incapable of governing their counties?
Somebody is asking here, if you are talking about a dialogue, is it how to address a rally by throwing insults at the government? What did Uhuru do to you people? He's asking about Muthama. He should apologize to Igoro and to the women at lunch. He should hold what comes out of his mouth. Remember, God is watching, and he shall fight for the president, no matter how you want to frustrate him as the opposition.
Well, that is his view, and I think the gentleman is addressing a particular person.
Yeah.
And I think that person is the one who could respond to such a thing.
But do you think if rallies like those ones are held, and the language used there is not very palatable, that will not encourage the dialogue we are looking for?
Of course, everyone has his own way of communicating. I would not communicate that way if I were to be honest with you. But I cannot control another person. Everyone knows how. I mean, you know me, Motegi, for many years.
Yes.
Since those days we were working together. I would not communicate that way. But everyone, when you go to a political rally, you cannot know or predict what the other person is going to say, but everyone speaks the way he does, because that is how he is. But you cannot, I cannot speak for him.
I know you are not the president, but I know at one time you are a provincial commissioner.
Yes.
We were very powerful people that time.
Yes.
If you are the president today and you had the same problem, no money to pay teachers, what would you do?
If I were the president, and I don't envy his position at the moment, because I know he's going through very difficult times because of the strike. First and foremost, I would call, again, I go back to the dialogue. I'll call other parties and I say, look, let's sit together here. We have a national problem. Forget about your political alignment. This is our country, Kenya. Let's talk about this problem. Lay all the facts on the table and discuss it. How do we go about it? And so we all get out, address even rallies, whether jointly or separately, but talking the same language. And I believe we can go very far if we use that method. I mean, it works all over the world. I don't think why it cannot work in Kenya.
But the president on Sunday did give facts and figures about how it is not feasible to pay the teachers.
Yes, he did. He did give facts, and nobody is even, I am not even disputing those facts. Again, those facts would be perhaps more useful if they were given together in that dialogue I'm talking about, with the churches, with the stakeholders, with the political parties, all together. And I think end of the day, even the good book says, let us come together and reason. That is the way to go.
But now there is no dialogue. The matter is pending in court, and it looks like as if we are in a quagmire.
Yes, we are. We are, and that is why we must look for a solution. All of us. This is our country. We must look for a solution. All of us. And as I said, we have many other problems. Corruption, for example, is a major problem in this country. Security is a major problem in this country. All this requires synergies, all of us together, to resolve. I believe with the intervention of the church, perhaps what I'm talking about can happen. That the church should be able to say, okay, you guys, you have been talking at different pages, can we bring them together? And when I say the church, not just the Catholic Church, I mean the entire church and all faiths, including the Muslim faith, to put the politicians of this country together and try to resolve our problems.
There has been a suggestion by Ababu Namamba, a member for Bunalangi, that he's going to move a motion to bring it to Parliament, where state officers and many other senior people get to have pay to sort out the problem. Is that feasible?
Well, I haven't
when the Speaker was here yesterday,
yes,
the Speaker of the Senate,
yes,
I did ask the same question,
yes,
and he seemed not to be for it.
I have not seen the motion, but I tend to support the Speaker of the National Assembly on that matter. Supposing that was to be done, supposing all members of Parliament salaries were cut even into half, or even 3/4, would that be enough to pay the teachers? It would not be enough. So I support the Speaker of the National Assembly, because some statements are made not to solve the problem, but again to create other impressions, like we are sympathetic to teachers. I mean, I don't mind myself, as Senator for Kitui, my salary being slashed, if it will resolve the problem. But even if you deduct the salaries of all the members of Parliament, all the members of the county assemblies, everybody, that money will not go anywhere to solve the problem the teachers are having.
Sarah Serem, head of the Salaries and Remuneration Commission, says that teachers' salaries have been regularized with other civil servants. They are at par as of now, and if they are increased, even if there was money to increase the salaries for the teachers the way they are asking, she would have to resign, because she would be required to adjust others' salaries for other public servants to be at par with the teachers, because the teachers now will be getting more than everybody else.
This whole issue of salaries for public servants, you are aware that it has been going on for a long time. Ministries even increasing salaries for staff, for example, Minister of Health, not knowing that there are other ministries. So there has been a lot of disparity in salary structures of government staff across the board.
And that's why you have SRC.
That's why we have SRC, and that is why SRC must play its role as per the Constitution in harmonizing. The word is harmonizing. Harmonizing salaries. Indeed, as it is in other countries. Other countries, they know that if you are a judge, if you are a member of Parliament, if you are whatever, that is the scale. So across the board, salaries are harmonized. And end of the day, whether teachers get their increase, end of the day, there must be harmonized salary structures across the board in the public service if we have to have harmony and industrial peace in this country.
Honorable Musira called should pray to God to give them a wisdom like that of Solomon. I don't know whether...
We all pray, and everybody should pray. And in fact, Kenyans should pray so that we can get out of this problem. Not just God should pray, we should all pray.
Somebody is suggesting that I'm supporting TNA, which is not, and suggesting that the figures that were given by the government or the president were wrong, that money is available. And another person says God is getting it wrong. The public concern is the leakages and the wastages in the government. But since they are beneficiaries of corruption through deals and with their governors, it's not their priority. And they was also suggesting that the president should engage other stakeholders so that we can get a national solution to the problem. That's Jacinta from Nairobi.
Yes, indeed. That Jacinta now supports what I've been saying. A national dialogue, a national discussion, a national conversation on this issue. Because, for one, I cannot say whether the president's figures were right or wrong, because I don't have the facts. But I think certainly the president must have had a good source of the figures that he gave. But I think, figures or no figures, again, we have a national problem. We should hold or discuss this matter as a national problem in a bipartisan manner.
Let us go to party politics.
Yes.
Your candidate, your chairman or your leader, Honorable Musyoka, it looks like when it comes to presidential campaigns and elections, Raila is ahead. Is Kalonzo Musyoka still a presidential candidate in 2017?
Well, I did say in another forum that we are three parties in the coalition. We have Ford Kenya, we have ODM, and we have Wiper. And every party has a right to put forward their candidate for 2017. Whether one is ahead or not, that will be decided by the mechanism that will be arranged by the coalition in nominating a single candidate for the presidency in 2017. Of course, we in Wiper have presented a candidate, and we think he's the best candidate. We will persuade our coalition partners to see our point of view. They have a candidate. Ford Kenya as a candidate. They will persuade all of us. But there will be a mechanism, a system of nomination that is going to be decided by the coalition. And what I can tell you is that whoever will be nominated by the party or the coalition party will carry the day. So I think it is immaterial here to say who is popular, who is not, because we have not yet come to that. We will come to that when we present, every party presents its candidate to the entire coalition partnership.
But we haven't been seeing Kalonzo Musyoka going out of a country campaigning like Raila.
Well, I don't understand why you say that, because in most cases the coalition partners, leaders, the principals go together. One may be away, one may be in another direction, but I think generally you can say that the three principals of CORD have done very well in reaching out to the public, particularly the two, Raila and Kalonzo, knowing that they are not in parliament. I think they have done very well, and they should be credited for keeping alive the coalition.
What would be wrong if Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka is offered a position in government?
Well, that is not for me to say,
because it seems like you are discouraging.
No, not at all. I mean, but you know, the government belongs to a coalition called Jubilee, and we are in a coalition called CORD. So, unless there are negotiations between the two, and it happens, between the two coalition two parties, Jubilee and Co, that look, we are interested in this person to do this national job, and therefore release him. And it is done all over the world. But what we discourage is kind of fishing. That is not...
Or poaching.
Or poaching. I think the word is poaching. That is not conducive to healthy politics.
Thank you very much, Bwana Musila. Unless there is something you want to tell?
No, I just want to thank you, and thank you for having me, and I thank the viewers who have made some contributions.
Thank you very much, and from now we go to the Christian band.